Hello everyone, my greetings to one and all. This is the 9th session on economic reforms. In the previous sessions, you have understood about the need for economic reforms, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. You have also analyzed the impact of economic reforms on various sectors of the economy. I am Poonam Vohra from Egypt Economics Learning Center, and this session focuses on yet another reform, that is demonetization. Let me give you a brief idea. What does it mean? When the current form of money is pulled out of circulation and is replaced by new notes and coins, it is called demonetization. The Government of India announced demonetization on 8th November 2016 and pulled out 500 and 1000 rupee note from circulation. This is not the first time. Earlier also demonetization has been announced. That was in the year 1946 and 1978. In 1947, the currency notes of rupees 1000 and rupees 10,000 were pulled out, whereas in 1978, the rupee notes of 1000, 5000 and 10,000 were pulled out. But both times, this ban did not have much impact, as the currency of such high denomination was not accessible to the common people. The purpose was to remove black money. So in this session, you will learn the reasons and the impact of demonetization on the economy. So let's begin. Demonetization is a situation where the central bank of the country, that is Reserve Bank, withdraws the old currency notes of certain denomination as an official mode of payment, or the legal tender status of a unit of currency is removed. It then directly affects the medium of exchange used in all economic transactions. Demonetization is undertaken by a nation for number of reasons. That is, to tackle black money, which included income which had not been reported and thus was untaxed, money gained through corruption, illegal goods sales and illegal activities. Then demonetization is also done in order to have an increase in the number of taxpayers by expanding the tax base and to reduce the number of transactions carried out by cash. Another major purpose is to reduce the finances available to terrorists and other radical groups. And finally, in order to integrate formal and informal economies. Now assess yourself and answer this question. Demonetization is beneficial for the economy. Give a logical reasoning. Though demonetization resulted in liquidity crunch, had its adverse impact on small businesses, on agriculture, on transportation, but it encouraged digital mode of payment like e-wallets, various apps, online transactions, use of plastic money, which led to more transparency. So, it turned out to be beneficial for medium term and for long term. The Government of India announced demonetization on 8th November 2016 and withdrawn currency notes of rupees 500 and 1000 denominations without providing for adequate replenishment. All economic agents were given a limited time window to deposit their existing notes and replace those with new notes. This created huge pressure on the banking system, marked by lengthening queues outside banks for about 2 months. The sudden decision had twofold impact on the Indian economy. One, an aggregate demand shock due to reduced money supply, and secondly, an aggregate supply shock by constraining availability of cash as a critical input for specified economic activities like purchase of inputs in the agricultural sector. This led to slowdown of growth to 4-year low to 6.7% approximately. The lower GDP growth on account of demonetization led to disruption in economic and industrial activity. Immediately after demonetization, sales of consumer durables and appliances slipped by 40%, and it was more pronounced in the Tier 2 towns simply because this market still operates on 80% cash. Though there were schemes which encouraged digital payments, special discount offers and promotions, but all these did not ease the demonetization's impact on consumer durables. The negative impact of demonetization was felt across all segments of the economy, specifically agriculture and industry, and the worst impacted were segments that relied on high volume cash transactions such as organized and unorganized retail, and the impact was felt at both the firm level and at the consumer level too. The IMF report stated that disruption was caused not only by cash shortages but also by dampened consumer and business sentiments that led to decline in high frequency consumption and production indicators such as sales of two-wheelers and cement output respectively. Not only that, it aggravated the agricultural sector's stress points and created more choke points within the supply chain. The unexpected shortage of cash had an impact at many levels, including a slowdown in employment of labor and a dip in overall farm incomes. There was loss of jobs and decline in wages due to demonetization, particularly in the unorganized and informal sectors and in small enterprises. Migrant workers were adversely affected. After demonetization, there was an increase in counterfeit currency. Counterfeit currency is the imitation currency produced without the legal sanction of the government. So there was an unauthorized artificial increase in money supply, and that led to losses because traders were not reimbursed for counterfeit money detected by banks. The push for digital payments was one of the stated intention of the demonetization. So there was immediate and sharp jump in digital payments through debit card point of sale transactions. The scarcity of cash led to chaos. There was reduction in industrial output as there was slowdown in both manufacturing and service industries, specifically in the core sectors such as cement, steel and refinery products. Also, reduction in inflation was noticed due to shortage in money supply. Not only that, even transactions in agricultural sector were adversely affected due to scarcity of the new bank notes Many farmers had insufficient cash to purchase various inputs needed for plantation. The shortage of cash led to plunge in demand, which in turn led to crash in the prices of crops. Farmers were unable to recover even the cost of transportation from their field to the market. So demonetization resulted in the relative erosion of agricultural wages and weak bargaining power of farmers for their produce. Also, RBI had to incur cost of printing new currency, which led to decline in dividend paid to government, and decrease in income of the government led to fiscal deficit. Since cash collection in temples and religious places are exempt from inquiry by the tax department, so after demonetization there was spike in the form of demonetized banknotes in temples. Also, people had booked large number of railway tickets to dispose of unaccounted cash. It came to notice of Indian Railways authorities, which then imposed restrictions to check evasion. So people faced difficulties in depositing or exchanging the demonetized banknotes outside banks and ATMs across India. ATMs were short of cash for months together after demonetization. Now assess yourself. A piece of information is being provided with few terms as underlined. You need to pick up one of those to complete the sentence. I'll read it for you. On analyzing the impact of demonetization, one finds that in 2017-18, the country's unemployment rate stood at 45-year low or high of 6.1%. according to the periodic labor force survey as conducted by NSSO. During 2017-18, as per the Income Tax Department, there was an increase or decrease of 1.07 crores taxpayers. Both farmers' income from crop cultivation as well as wages of farm laborers expanded or contracted in 2016-17 despite the above normal or below normal monsoon season. Please check your answer. In 2017-18, the country's unemployment rate stood at 45-year high of 6.1% according to the periodic labor force survey conducted by NSSO. During 2017-18, as per the Income Tax Department, there was an increase in the of 1.07 crore taxpayers. Both farmers' income from crop cultivation as well as wages of farm laborers contracted in 2016-17 despite the above normal monsoon season. All these are the impact of demonetization. I hope you have understood the concept of demonetization and its impact on various sectors of the economy. With this, the session comes to an end, but we shall continue further with the unit. The next session would be on another reform, that is goods and services tax. Till then, keep reading and keep learning.